Hey entrepreneurs, how's it going? This is Kevin right here from EBC, and today I have a special book to share with you, and it's called Measure What Matters by John Doerr. Now, John Doerr is a partner and chairman at Kleiner Perkins, which is one of the most storied venture capitalist firms of all time, and he's considered by many to be one of the most influential VCs of our generation. Fun fact, he's also an alum of my college, Rice University. So this book is all about teaching you the philosophy behind a system called OKRs, or Objectives and Key Results. On the highest level, it talks about how to improve your company's execution and performance from top to bottom via structured goal setting. So I think this was important for this channel because EBC is all about entrepreneurship and improving on all different aspects. And so this book talks about how to improve your business on an organizational level via systems or processes like OKRs. And after reading this book, I just finished it. I thought it was super helpful and useful for organizations of all sizes, although a good portion of the discussion was probably meant for larger organizations. So now I want to dive a little bit into what this book was all about and summarize the content for you, share with you the key points. So the first chunk of this book talks about the concept of OKRs and shows you how to utilize it for various companies and organizations of all types. So the O stands for objectives, and that describes the what's that you want to get done, your goals or intents. And the KR stands for key results, and these are the hows, or the measurable milestones that you can accomplish that push you towards your objectives. So there's an important distinction here. Your key results, these are not activities that you do that get you to the objective. Rather, these are outcomes. If you're able to accomplish these outcomes that you list, then your objective will be met. This book argues that using this system gets you 4 main benefits. Number 1 is your ability to really tell what's important and have your whole team focus on those important things and defer the ones that are not as important for later. Gives you operating on maximum efficiency. Number 2 is to allow everyone to make sure that they're aligned and connect with each other from team to team, because these goals or these OKRs are all transparent. So everyone can see them. They can see how there's mix and match, how the puzzle pieces work, also how they all point together towards the organizational's upper level objectives. This is a super important benefit because many times working for prior companies, I felt in the dark, going through the motions, not sure that what I was doing was actually contributing to anything meaningful. Number 3 benefit of this system is that it's trackable by data, it's measurable, you can see your progress, you can see where you're lagging and falling behind so that other people can help you or that you can reassess whether this was the right key result to go after. And last but not least, number 4 is that this system can help motivate people to stretch and achieve things beyond their wildest imaginations that they originally thought was possible. And so this book provides a ton of examples about how other companies have implemented the system up and down across teams and used it to achieve each of the 4 benefits I just listed. So like I said, the deep discussion of OKRs is the first part of the book. The second part of the book is about continuous performance management, or basically how to restructure HR, how it can evolve for a company to better support OKRs and the philosophy behind it. Because remember, the old school methods for HR, or human resources, is to do performance reviews once a year, or maybe even twice a year. But a lot of people hate that. Nobody really likes it, right? And even bosses or managers think it's a huge waste of their time. So instead, this new system of continuous performance management uses more like quarterly goals or even monthly. They used OKRs in the systems, and they use something called CFRs, or conversations, feedbacks, and recognitions, to lift everyone up and improve the morale and execution and ability of the whole organization. This book gives a lot of case studies of this new system of HRs of companies that have ditched the prior model, like Adobe, for example, and moved towards this new model. And they also point out about how many companies have been raving about it and have seen substantial improvements in employee retentions and performance. So that hopefully gave you a good gist of what this book teaches. And of course, this was a really high level summary. So in order to get the most value out of this, you need to read the book for yourself. But in the next part, I'm going to kind of analyze this book myself and share with you my subjective opinion on it. First and foremost, I found this OKR strategy very helpful, even for small startups and even for individuals like you and I. Because it helps you really ask yourself what's most important, what are you trying to achieve here, and come up with steps that you can measure and work towards. For example, if I want to learn an instrument or a social dance, I can make an OKR for that. I can say I want to reach 50 hours of practice per month, I want to go to 4 private lessons, and I want to audition for 2 orchestras in the region. Those are examples of key results you can set for an objective of going from beginner to intermediate in guitar, for example. Number 2 is that I love the numerous examples that the book included about how different companies wrote out their OKRs. And each one had a different style and feel because not each company and not all the leaders are the same, right? It even showed an example of a football team that's trying to win the Super Bowl about how they can structure the OKR for the general manager, for the head coach, for the offensive coach, defensive coach, and special team coach, and how they all aligned and cascaded down. Now, the book did have dozens and dozens of examples, and some of them didn't fit the best practices as explained by Doerr. So that was a little bit confusing in my mind. For example, some key results were too vague and didn't have any numbers included, but overall it was helpful. Number 3, I liked specifically the examples of the teams that struggled to implement the system, and that really gave me a more realistic sense of it. It wasn't all roses and everyone did this system and got to where they wanted to go immediately, right? Because it's definitely not a walk in the park to get a hang of this new system. It really requires buy-in and people to labor and try it out and really work at it to get it to work. And they do not give the picture that it's a walk in the park, for example. Because the bigger the organization is, the more people you have to convince to really buy in and see the value of the system in order for it to get full buy-in and get the maximum effect. The 4th thing I felt about this book was that the second half of this book, when it talked about continuous performance management, is really better for larger organizations. This is the part where they talk about redefining human resources processes to match OKRs better. But it's really not as impactful of a change for smaller startups where we mostly do continuous feedback already and work hand in hand every day in everything we do. But it's still interesting to see how past companies I worked for, like the larger corporations, could have utilized it, and I definitely think it would have been way more helpful and better for sure. Last but not least, number 5, in terms of readability, I always like to talk about the books I read and how readable they are. This one I'd say was medium. It's definitely not the easiest read, but definitely not the worst either. And like I said, I liked many of the stories and examples that they told, but some of them got really drawn out, and I felt like we could have done without a few of them. So in conclusion, I still think this is a must-read for all entrepreneurs running any type of organization, especially if you're a leader. You got to get started with this. Definitely one of the top 5 books out of all the ones I've read so far. And this is the foundational one. What I mean by that is that you have to read it early, so it helps you make the most out of all the other books you read later on. I'm a believer of the OKR strategy, and I'm already trying to improve my application of it and pushing for other organizations that I'll work with in the future to adopt it as well. Next up, I'm going to pick up a book that I'm halfway through, but I tabled a few months ago. It's called Inspired, and it's about product strategy, how to build tech products in the best way, kind of product management, product development related. This is much needed for me, and if it's for you too, then definitely be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys next time.